All. My name is Caroline Coleman, and I am an undergraduate senior here at Meredith College, majoring in food and nutrition in hopes of becoming a registered dietitian. I am presenting research that I have been conducting since my freshman year that has since grown and developed. What started out as a graduate student's project has been passed down and continued as my honors thesis. This research is titled Intuitive Eating and Health Outcomes. Intuitive eating was coined by Evelyn Tribal and Elise Resch in 1995 when they released their book, Intuitive Eating, a revolutionary program that works. Within this book, a non-diet approach to weight management was proposed. This revolutionary concept challenged diet culture, claiming that the human body, each individual human body, has an innate knowledge of what span of weight it would prefer to hover at. This is known as our ideal weight. The basic tenets of this philosophy include unconditional permission to eat, or UPE, eating for physical rather than emotional reasons, EPR, reliance on hunger and satiety cues, RHSC, and choosing foods that honor both hunger and health, termed body food choice congruence, or BFCC. This theory maintains that we, as intuitive eaters, pay close attention to hunger and satiety cues whilst rejecting external influences, such as diet culture, and allow our bodies to help guide us in choosing foods that are satisfying and energizing. We will not skyrocket in weight, but maintain a degree of weighted homeostasis. The purpose of my research is to continue to gain insight into the eating habits and motivators of college-age individuals and determine their knowledge of intuitive eating. To accomplish this goal, we collected quantitative and qualitative data. Before sending out the survey or conducting the focus groups and interviews, we predicted outcomes based on our previous knowledge. For the quantitative data, we hypothesized that participants who scored higher on the intuitive eating scale would score lower on the visceral sensitivity scale. With the addition of the community college population and comparing the data to the four-year colleges and universities, I predicted that the IES2 scores would be lower and VSI higher, respectively, within the community college participants. As far as qualitative data goes, our research ideas conclude that themes and answers to the discussion questions would center around the cost, availability of food, and societal impacts on food choices. We used the visceral sensitivity scale and the intuitive eating scale to collect quantifying gastrointestinal symptomology and differing degrees of intuitive eating. Previous research included 279 participants recruited from North Carolina State University and Meredith College who completed a survey presented through Qualtrics, a surveying system utilized in data collection. Current participants, which is right now at N equals 75, were enrolled at Johnston Community College. Participants are still being recruited via Johnston Community College as well as Wake Tech Community College, so this data is still in the process of being collected and completely analyzed. All of this data was collected online and we received our data in real time. Listed are a set of questions that students would have been asked to answer regarding their eating habits for intuitive eating scale. The questions are specific in asking time of day, amount, and listening or ignoring hunger and fullness cues. The answers they can provide range from strongly disagree to strongly agree. Here we have a sample of the assigned visceral sensitivity index, and answers fall on a Likert scale, allowing the user to answer anywhere from 1 to 6, with 6 strongly agreeing with the statement and 1 strongly disagreeing. The Visceral Sensitivity Index is a self-report measure used in quantifying symptoms of gastrointestinal symptom-specific anxiety. It is generally utilized in measuring symptoms of IBS, but for our purposes, we were looking to find a correlation between body sensations and levels of intuitive eating, so this was an ideal measure in doing just that. Within the assigned Qualtrics survey, a negative correlation was discovered between the Visceral Sensitivity Index and the Intuitive Eating Scale. Here we have the actual Pearson's correlation presented to us using SAS, which is a data analytics system. The strong negative correlation is depicted here with R equaling negative 0.43 and P being less than 0.001. The data has not been analyzed to observe any correlations between the Johnston Community College data and the data from Meredith and NC State, as the data from Johnston Community College has not been run through the SAS software to determine any correlations between the visceral sensitivity index and the intuitive eating scale. So this is only the data that was previously collected from Meredith College and North Carolina State University. As you can see, the visceral sensitivity index is displayed along the y-axis, while the intuitive eating scale is labeled along the x-axis. The negative correlational trend is clearly depicted by the blue downward sloping line. After sending out and evaluating the surveys, we began the second phase of the project, the focus groups for Meredith College and NC State, as it was pre-COVID, and then individual interviews, which is post-COVID or currently what I am conducting right now with the participants from Johnston Community College. We recruited both sets of participants via the survey. We asked them if they would be interested in attending a focus group, and if they said yes, we contacted them via email to set up dates, times, and locations on the specific campus. Meredith College, we were able to host a focus group on campus, and North Carolina State, we were also able to host on campus as well. For our individual interviews, we recruited them via the survey and asked if they would be interested in attending an individual survey via Zoom based on their availability, since we had difficulty contacting the participants who could all meet on Zoom at one time for Johnston Community College. We decided to reach back out to individuals who had been interested and see if they would be willing to participate in focus groups. Several interviews have been taking place and are planning to be taking place in the future, so analysis for those individual interviews has not been conducted yet. The focus group and interview aspect of the project is the most interesting and personally my favorite part of our research. We spent a majority of our time and energy on this part, and we received extensive training on how to moderate a focus group as well as an interview and how those differ. We practiced using pre-recorded interviews that allowed us to learn how to pick up on specific details and probe when necessary to gain a deeper understanding of the participants' perspectives. In terms of the results of the focus groups, we each read through the transcription on our own, looking for overarching themes and language that was used to describe their eating habits. As individual interviews are still being conducted, like I mentioned earlier, thematic analysis has not yet been established for the community college population. We then came together as a group to discuss our findings and come to a consensus about the top themes that emerged from each of the focus groups held at Meredith and held at North Carolina State University. The themes that we came up with include guilt, which encompasses self, peer, and society, cost versus waste, convenience, habitual eating, ignoring cues, communal eating, and dependence. And like I mentioned earlier, the thematic analysis has not yet been captured for the individual interviews yet. Here are some of the quotes that fall under the category listed to the left. These quotes chosen embodied some of the top themes that emerged throughout our focus groups. So we have guilt, self, peers, and society, with sometimes when I'm hungry, I feel that it's wrong and that I shouldn't be hungry. For cost versus waste, I feel like I have to eat everything in front of me or I'm being wasteful. Convenience, when I don't feel like cooking, I'll eat a peanut butter sandwich. Then I feel bad about myself. Habitual eating, I have a set schedule around when I eat, not really my stomach, but my head. ignoring cues. There's a point where I feel full, but I want to eat more. I keep eating, but I shouldn't, but I just want to. Communal eating. I completely disregard any feelings of hunger when I'm out with my friends. And dependence. I live at home, so whatever my mom cooks. As stated, given documented knowledge surrounding the ill effects of chronic dieting, weight cycling, and the link between dieting and eating disorder development, intuitive eating presents sustainable, health-driven behaviors without the pursuit of weight loss. Proponents of intuitive eating as a theory point to compelling research that dieting does not actually work long-term, and weight loss almost invariably results in weight regain, sometimes above and beyond the initial amount lost. The yo-yoing effect of weight can decrease body satisfaction, increasing the risk of eating disorder development and well as the sustenance of previously present disordered eating behaviors. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen to my research presentation. I hope you are excited about this project as I am. I am looking forward to the analysis of the community college data, as this is the part where I have really been focusing on in my honors thesis. I am looking forward to adding that data and comparing it to the data I have already collected. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. Otherwise, have a great rest of your day.